Damn, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm getting lit up. Stay alive. Stay alive. Oh.
I ran.
And the boss is gonna get me this the fucking Scion with a melee. He's not even near me. He's like 20 yards away.
I got rid of my
Scion got like its Stretch Armstrong arm.
Damage face.
I don't know if we'll be able to do any damage. I'm more worried about just staying alive at this point.
Yeah.
Shit.
Ah, got him.
Nice.
Oh, holy crap, dude.
Woohoo! Then there's some kind of eggs or something we can get or something up in here, isn't there? Before we... Bones or something?
There's a bone, I think.
Oh my gosh, I just got an exotic. What is that?
There's a bone right here.
That's the crossbow.
This is all that remains of the Ahamkara.
I got
Yeah,
the first
You
try.
got the crossbow on the first try?
So did I, man. I got it too.
What?
Bloodline. This has never happened to me my entire life.
Both of you got it on the first try? What the
I
fuck?
guess
My
so.
first boss completion. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that was mine too. Jeez. I literally have never had that happen.
Nice.
Ever.
We start off this dungeon just like every other single dungeon and raid in Destiny 2 with a nice little jump puzzle. Seriously, Bungie, like, please, these jump puzzles, opening sequences remind me of movies from the 90s, okay? When studios would put these long credit scenes in front of the movie that nobody wanted to watch and nobody cared about. Okay, we do not need these opening little jump puzzles to make the dungeons and raids seem longer. If there's a point to it, then great. But just to have it there, just to have it, it's kind of getting old. Lucky for us, there is a nice little frog that you have to kill in this jump puzzle. It's part of the quest for this dungeon. So I guess there is a plus side. Once you traverse your way up to the first boss encounter, just like pretty much every other first encounter of any dungeon or raid, it's meant to start to teach you the mechanics of the dungeon. So here you're going to learn that in order to do DPS, you have to stand next to a lantern. Yay. Fun stuff. All jokes aside though, guys, I actually really do enjoy this encounter. I actually really like the little cage mechanic where it takes you up into the cage and then you have to shoot the 3 eyes really fast. It gives you like this rush of adrenaline, like, come on, you gotta find the eyes, you gotta find the eyes, and you just feel the time ticking down away and you're like, I'm gonna die, somebody shoot my eyes. The boss itself is just a generic Scorn, which is fine. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything crazy. And as for what it is, like I said, I can't complain. I thought that this encounter was fine. It taught us the mechanics that we needed to learn, and then we move on to another small jump puzzle. So I like the fact that they actually did something a little bit different in the next part. Instead of giving us a generic jump puzzle, we got this little maze of corridors that we had to traverse and find our way through. And I actually really enjoy the fact that they not only put little hidden traps in there, but there's also chests that, I mean, if you look closely enough, they're pretty easy to spot that it's a trap chest. But on your first run, if you're just blindly going in, haven't watched any how-to videos or anything like that, you're going to be hitting these chests and they're going to be killing you. And it brought me so much joy watching so many people get ended over and over again trying to open these chests to these secret hidden traps, and even myself doing these things and trying to figure out my way through these corridors and this little kind of, you know, maze puzzle thing that they decide to do here. I thought that it was a really nice change of pace from other generic jump puzzles that we've gotten in the past. Once we get to the second boss, it's once again a generic giant ogre. Seriously, Bungie, like, I'm ready for new enemy types. I'm sorry, but these generic bosses over and over again are just kind of getting old at this point. I know that we're getting the final shape soon, and like, I can't wait to start getting new enemies, guys. Like, just having these generic Scorn and Ogre bosses over and over and over again is just, it's getting old and it's starting to drive me crazy. But once again, this encounter is meant to taught you new mechanics. So now you have the mechanic from the first encounter where you have to stand next to the lanterns in order to do DPS. But then you also have the biting cold where it will freeze you to death. And actually, now that I think about it, I think this is the only encounter that actually uses that mechanic. That's not used in the boss fight, is it? So yeah, never mind. I actually really enjoyed this encounter, even though it's a generic boss once again, and even though they reuse some of the same old mechanic, we seen it over and over again. Stand next to this pillar, stand next to this plate, DPS the boss from this plate, you know, and it's kind of the same old mechanics, but I don't know, there was just something charming about this where you could, you know, do you want to use rockets? Do you want to use close range weapons? How do you want to approach it? Obviously, most people are going to choose to use rockets, linears, and things like that, because if you get outside of the, you know, where you get the little buff, then you're not gonna be able to do damage, so you can't really run close range weapons. But on my first run, figuring all of that out was actually pretty fun, and it's really not a bad encounter to be running with teammates because it does require a little bit of communication. Like, you want to make sure you take out all the eyes except for one. You want to make sure that you drop the yellow bars before you know, go into and try to do DPS. You want to make sure that you're starting at the same lantern and then rotating around the same way. You want to make sure you're communicating with your teammate, which I really enjoyed all these aspects of this encounter. So after this encounter, we get another little maze with, yes, more frogs so that we can progress our quest, which I will talk about the quest later. I actually enjoy these maze sections. I don't know why. I like the change of pace. And I actually really enjoyed the jump puzzle in this part. I mean, it was hilarious watching people getting slapped around by those giant rocks. I was absolutely cracking up my first couple runs of doing this dungeon, and it was really cool looking cinematography with giant taking orb in the middle of the room, and you're trying to traverse your way around the room and, you know, look for secret hidden doors and the secret chest and things like that, while ads are blasting you and rocks are knocking you off, and it made for a really good time to run with clanmates and friends. So I've heard a lot of people complain about the final boss, and I understand why, man. Sometimes the mechanic where you have to get rid of the debuff, you know, where you have to melee the little shiny guy to get rid of your debuff, it just seems glitchy at times. Like, I swear I meleeed him, but somehow I got the debuff back and now I'm dying. There were also early on glitches. I've heard that they fixed them now, but there were glitches where the big yellow bar Gorn guys, they weren't dropping 2 lanterns like they should be, and it was just buggy at times, especially on launch. This encounter was super buggy, and I understand why a lot of people were getting really frustrated with this encounter. But the boss itself, I absolutely loved. I love the fact that it's a taken a Hamakara. Say that right? But it kind of throws me off, guys. I'm not gonna lie, because this thing does not look like a Hamakara to me. It looks like some sort of giant worm. Taken worm thing, maybe? I don't know. Maybe it is a taken worm. Maybe I got my lore mixed up. I thought we were supposed to be fighting a Hamakara. Maybe it is it's actually a taken worm. Maybe when the Hamakara got taken, it turned into this thing, but then Riven's taken and she looks normal. I don't know. I'm not the biggest lore guy, guys. All right, I'm just reviewing the freaking dungeon here. And I'm saying, I did think the boss looked really cool. I loved that the damage phase was pretty much totally unique to this boss. A lot of people to this day still don't realize that all that you're doing, all, you know, from the first damage phase all the way up top to the 3 platforms, that is all considered one damage phase. I will be Sherpaing this dungeon to this day and getting arguments with people like, no, that, you know, the first platform, that's 1 damage phase, and the second one, that's 2, and then third one, that's 3, and then the 3 up top, that's 4, and it's like, I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is all considered 1 damage phase. So if you manage to kill the boss within that time, all those platforms, that is considered 1 phasing the boss. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but that's what I always thought. Now, the weapons themselves, me personally, I don't really care for. I haven't really found anything too crazy. I do like the sword. I love caster frame swords. I don't know why. I'm an idiot. I've loved them since D1, where we had the arc sword that shot the disco. What is that called?
Destructo Disc!
I love the arc sword from D1 where it would shoot the Destructo disc. It reminded me of Krillin's move from Dragon Ball Z. I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z nerd. So I've just always loved caster frame swords. I love the fact that you can be shooting enemies with the sword. And I did some pretty creative builds using the Strand sword with what is it called? Chain reaction. The Strand sword with chain reaction with the proper Strand build is so much fun, dude. It is an ad clearing monster. And I know that a lot of people, pretty much everybody, is farming this dungeon for that new rocket / sidearm little thing they got going on. I guess it's supposed to be a new weapon type. I haven't tried it personally. I've gotten a few of them, quite a few of them actually, but I haven't actually used it. I do know that, you want to get, I think it's called Jolt Shot on it, and I know the rules for it and things like that, but I just haven't gotten into the weapons as much as I probably should have. And the one thing I want to complain about the most is I have probably done this dungeon close to 20 times, maybe more than that. Out of 20 runs, I have seen 2 people get the exotic. I haven't gotten it myself. I've seen 2 people get it. So 20 runs with 3 guardians, that's 60 times. Somebody could have gotten this exotic, and I've seen it twice. Do you know how disheartening that is? Oh my god, the drop rate for this exotic just, and I wanted to include the exotic weapon review in this review because it's all kind of one thing, but I haven't gotten it yet, and I'm tired of putting this review off, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have to go ahead and do this review, and I'll do that exotic weapon review later because I can't get it, and who knows how long it's gonna be. This dungeon isn't farmable, so I can only run it 3 times a week, then that's it. Now I gotta wait till next week. And so who knows how long it's gonna be before I can actually get my hands on this thing and do a proper review on it. Now the quest itself that you get for this dungeon, I do enjoy the fact that they gave us a quest, exotic quest to do for this dungeon. I say exotic because it gives you like an exotic engram or something like that. I don't remember. But I like the fact that they did kind of like this little secret hidden ending when you actually finish the quest and you can go and talk to Tolan. I guess that, are you talking to Tolan? Or are you just clicking on him? I don't know. But you go, and then you go through the portal, and spoiler alerts, by the way. But you go through the portal, and then, there's some nice dialogue there, and you get some backstory about the Ahamakara and things like that. The only thing that bothered me, and I would not let this go, like, seriously, like, Juice and my other teammates, they were like, I think they were getting annoyed with me because I was like, why is the Ahamakara skull so small? Why is it so small? Ahamakara ain't this small, okay? I don't even think baby newborn Ahamakara this small. Why is this? What did somebody shrink the Ahamakara skull down? What is going on here? It bothered me more than it should have. But I mean, how cool would it have been to go through that portal and just seen this massive Ahamakara skull just sitting in the middle of the room? It's like twice the size of you. I don't know. Just little things like that could have maybe made the experience a little bit better. Bro, there's no way this is a Ahamakara skull. Like, we've seen how big the Ahamakara are. This makes no sense. You want no baby?
I mean, maybe they got small skulls and just a lot of meat around the skull.
No, because, like, we've been inside their mouths. You couldn't fit inside that fucking mouth.
Yeah.
But honestly, guys, I can't lie. I actually enjoyed this dungeon more than any other dungeon experience I've ever had. Even more than Ghost of the Deep. And I'm going to be doing a complete Ghost of the Deep review later on. So I don't want to harp on it too much because, man, I could spend an hour talking about the problems with that dungeon. But I really enjoy Ghost of the Deep, but I enjoyed this. I put this dungeon ahead of Ghost of the Deep. This dungeon just felt perfectly paced out, besides that opening stupid little jump puzzle I talked about in the beginning. But I mean, it didn't feel too long and dragged on. It didn't feel like it had too many encounters. It didn't feel like the jump puzzle sections and maze sections were just dragging ass on and on. You could traverse them pretty quickly, and they had some nice little secrets and things like that you could find. And it just felt like this almost perfect balance of boss fights and jump puzzles. And you can speed run it, you know, in maybe 45 minutes with a decent team. You know, I'm not talking about sweaties here. I'm talking about just LFG and a team. You know, you can get through it pretty quick with some decent players. And man, this is an S tier dungeon, in my opinion. I absolutely love this dungeon. So while I was editing my review, I actually ended up getting the Buried Bloodline to drop finally, and ended up doing the Catalyst run and all that. And this just added to this dungeon so much more. I absolutely love the little boss fight, the special secret little boss fight that you get from doing the Catalyst from the Buried Bloodline. That was so much fun to me. And I like the fact that the catalyst, getting the catalyst itself wasn't too tedious. You know, you had 3 simple little puzzles. Just find the lit up torches, stand on the corresponding plate. It was nice and simple. And the boss fight itself wasn't too confusing. It wasn't too mechanically heavy. It was real easy to Sherpa people through it and teach people it. And I love the simplicity of it, while at the same time, it just, like I said, it added that extra little layer, that little, like, that feeling of like a little secret Easter egg, even though it's really not. It just made it that much better. I absolutely love this dungeon. I really hope you guys enjoyed the review. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I am the one and only Z. Bye-bye. Did you give me accommodations? Give me accommodation. Nobody. Oh. That guy didn't give me accommodations. After all we did for him.
You're not worthy.
After all we did for
I'll
him,
give you
dude?
one.
Give me the best one.
You can be an ally.
What? You give me a green? I'm fucking leaving.
Yeah, I give you the green. You didn't earn a gold one.
What? What?
You didn't hit 6 million damage.
What? What is...
5.7.
Oh, I'm sorry about my 5.7 million damage. I'll do better next time.
Better.
Motherfucker, give me hella. I deserve the gold
I gave
accommodation.
you a white one.
Aw,
Present. A white one. Present. He was present.
fucking asshole.
I make my own accommodation.
Custom accommodations.